revenue in your business right now, it is following up. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it's lots of latent assets that are really, really easy to convert when you follow these 5 tips, because following up is an art form. And if it's done wrong, you're just going to look desperate. And the best way, just before we jump into these 5 tips, the best way to think about this is the London restaurant analogy and a bad restaurant. Have you ever been to a restaurant, maybe on a date or maybe with somebody where you're having a really in-depth conversation, and you've just felt that the waiter or the waitress has kind of butted in at the wrong moment, or you've kind of felt they're hovering over you and they haven't given you the space to have that conversation? Maybe you even feel that they're listening to you. Whereas what I used to do when I used to work in London is we used to go to the top end restaurants where we would do the deals. And in the restaurants in the city of London, the financial district, the waiters and the waitresses have this unique ability to never be there unless you need them. That's to say, they're not close, they're not listening to you, but the moment you kind of even move your eyes to need attention, they're there straight away. They never interrupt the conversation. They're used to politicians. They're used to giving people space. This is what we need to do when it comes to following up. We need to be more London waiter than overbearing waiter or waitress at Chili's, because I had this experience at Chili's when I arrived to the States, haven't been since. So what's the first one? The first one is this. It's something that a lot of people miss, because the majority of communication is non-verbal. Upwards of 70 to 93%, the statistics say, of communication is non-verbal. So if you want to follow up with somebody and you don't want to look desperate and you don't want to look like you're chasing and just write something like, "Hi name, just checking in, do you want to buy my stuff yet?" There's absolutely no way you can write anything. Even if you're William Shakespeare, you're never going to be able to wordsmith anything that doesn't look desperate. And this is really easy to resolve. I use a piece of software called Loom. Loom has a really tight integration with LinkedIn, tighter than a sausage in a hot dog, which means if you're on somebody's profile, you can just set up so you see their profile, they see a picture of you in the corner, and then when you record the video, you get a link, you put it into the message, and they'll see you on their profile, and you can just write something like, "Hey, quick message for you, Steve." Let's just use the name Steve. They'll see their profile. They can't resist clicking. But what you want to say is this. You want to work on the energy, not so much what you're actually saying. "Hey, name, we had a conversation a while ago, just checking in. How is everything going? Really enjoyed your post on X." Make sure you use a trigger point. We'll be coming to trigger points later on. So the first one's video. The second one is memes. Yes, the lost art of using a meme. I like using a picture of Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, and I just put a picture of Jon Snow in the chat, and I say it's cold out, Jon Snow in the ice outside, and I just write, "It's cold out here, don't leave me hanging." And people will respond to humor, and it just takes that tenseness out of the conversation, and you more often than not get a response. Number 3. This is something I just alluded to when we're talking about the video. You need a trigger, and this is what I call the internal trigger. So did they comment on a post? Did they post a piece of content? Did they do something on LinkedIn or in email or anywhere that you can use as context for a communication? Because communication without context is harassment. That's extreme, but just think about this, right? If you're walking down the road and somebody comes up to you and offers you a free mobile phone, you're probably going to, these days, you're probably going to, what's going on? Like, what's the catch? Is it laced with something that's going to render me unconscious? Whereas if somebody comes up to you in the street and goes, "Hey, I recognize you. I've seen you on LinkedIn Live. I'm a friend of so-and-so that you know. He said that you were looking for a computer. I've just happened to be selling one." There's context to that conversation. There's context to what's going on. So find these trigger points. Don't use the birthday trigger point. It's overdone. It's overworked. Find a comment, like the comment. "Hey, Steve, really enjoyed your comment about so-and-so." Moving on to number 4, this is the external trigger. This is one that not many people use. So if you're targeting somebody in, I don't know, the financial services industry, in a specific niche of the financial services industry, and a story breaks in the media, use that story as context for the follow-up. "Hey, Steve, just saw this. It's really interesting, isn't it?" And give an opinion on it, and they will thank you. If you're the first person I'm live, so get this right. If you are the first person to bring this important story to their attention, they'll be grateful for it. Reciprocity, do something for them, they're going to do something to you. You're going to get a response. More than that, you look like an authority, and you're leveraging external events to create that follow-up conversation. Number 5, this is a big one. I'm doing it right now. Video is your most powerful follow-up. Video is your most powerful salesperson. Video is the most powerful follow-up, whatever. It's in the feed. They see you. They experience your energy. They experience the nonverbal communication. You can combine all of the points that I've just said, external triggers, plus all sorts of stuff into a video, and it's working 24/7 on LinkedIn. Increasingly, we're seeing people repurpose their video content from LinkedIn to YouTube. It's helping them, even if they're not getting views on YouTube, it's helping them rank when people search for their name on Google, because like it or not, you are who Google says you are. So there you are. There's the 5 follow-ups in 6 minutes, 8 seconds. Have a wonderful day, all right?